Welcome to On Purpose Coaching, where we challenge you to do better on purpose. Awesome. Welcome to Enneagram'd On Purpose, a segment of On Purpose Planning and Consulting. I'm your host, Coach Joanie, and today we're going to be talking with type 5s. And I got my girl. Listen, they are a rarity, guys. Listen, you can't find 5s to save your life. I'm probably going to have trouble finding some 4s on my next podcast, but we're going to work it out. So today I got my girl Jordin, and she's going to go ahead and introduce herself real quick. Just tell me a little bit about herself, and we're going to hop right in. So, hey, Jordin.
Hey, Joanie. Thanks for having me. My name's Jordin West. I'm a type 5. I just finished college, which is super exciting. And yeah, right. I'm so excited for that crap. And then, we're just kicking. I'm excited to be here.
Sweet. So let's hop right into it. My type 5, the investigatory observer. Y'all be wearing people out. Can I just go ahead and just say that? And here's the thing, I got a 5 in my number too, because it's my stressor number.
Yeah.
And I know I wear people out, especially when I get mad and I go into all of that, like, questioning and and not trusting, right? I become like I'm straight NCIS, all the shows, Criminal Minds. I'm like, and then what you gonna do? And then why'd y'all do that? And then where are you going after that? And then what is that supposed to be doing? But why are we doing that though? Okay, so can I get some more information about that? So y'all 5s, y'all wear us out because y'all are analytical, but you're insightful, you're curious, and we want curiosity, but you can be stoically detached sometimes. So we're gonna talk about that here in a second. But you're cool, calm, and you're collected. So we need 5s. We need 5s in our lives because they help us map things out to the detail, okay? Straight detail. So you guys are great like scientists and those people, because you will research it to death. So all you people out there, especially you Facebookers, social media monsters, don't go try to go head to head with no 5 because they know all the information. They researched 2,000 resources in order to make their point that they was trying to make. So don't even try to go there, right? Because their motivation is to be competent and capable in all situations. Okay, that's all. So it don't matter whether you talk about barbecuing, taking care of the dog, becoming vegan, keto life. Listen, they're going to know all of it. They're going to be like, hey, were you aware that the crocodiles down in Florida are making a comeback this year because of COVID? So they're coming ashore a lot more because the pheromones. We're like, what? Like, how do you know these things? Like, but that's the 5. But their fears, right? Being intrusive, people encroaching. Mm-hmm. I feel encroached upon. Am I saying the word right? Encroached.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, but we're going to say that that's the right
Go with it.
We're going to go with it. Feeling obligated, right? 5s hate for somebody to be like, yeah, because Jordan's going to do it. Jordan's going to show up. She's going to bring the snacks to the cookout. And you like, I didn't even sign up for that. Like, don't sign me up for stuff. 5s are quick to be like, don't sign me up for stuff. Like, so when it comes to their needs and their money and their time and their resources, y'all are stingy. You got that stingy, right? And that's that dependence, right? That's the of having to depend on someone else. Absolutely not. What do you think? Tell me about it. Tell me about you.
Yeah, super accurate. I've noticed, like, when we talked about the motivation to be competent and capable, that is like one of my main drivers. So if I feel like I'm not going to be competent in something, I just don't even try it because I can't stand the idea of not being able to do it.
Ooh, listen, that's 3s do that. 3s won't try things because they're like, if I'm going to fail. But theirs is different. See, you want to make sure you're capable. They're like, I ain't trying to look bad.
Yeah.
But that's so funny that those 2 numbers share that. What else? That's awesome.
The fears, when you talked about intrusion, obligation, My goodness, those are like two huge things for me. Like you said, basically, if someone signs me up for something when I didn't volunteer to do it, I immediately almost like shut down.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't want to do that. And I just, sometimes I won't, or sometimes I will, and I just won't be in a good mood about it because I didn't want to. An intrusion, people coming into like, when I'm not ready to share something or not ready to be vulnerable, and people like just push and push, it just causes me to completely shut down and not trust that person because they're intruding on me when I'm not comfortable with it yet.
That's right. Yeah. I've seen that in Propel.
Yep.
Like, I ain't talking.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I do.
Like, I'll see you next week. Love you. You're like,
see you guys.
I'm not coming.
Exactly. That's so me.
I'm like, really, Jordin? You're just not gonna come? Like, you love me. You are my friend. I
can love you at a distance.
I love you at a distance. Oh my God, 5. So 5s, guys, are like the most emotionally distant number on the Enneagram. That's really sad. Like, I thought I was bad for an 8, but like y'all will like ride till the wheels fall off to death and be like, I'm by myself. I'm good. I don't need anyone. I'm right here by myself, solo dolo. That's solo dolo. But we rebuke that, okay? Because that is not okay. So let's hop into the core motivations, because it's reasons why y'all do that. Like type 5, investigative thinker, okay? Y'all have great perspective. You're insightful, you're intelligent, but you're also detached and isolated. And that's we don't want you to be that way. We love the 5s. We need the 5s. And these are your core fears. Core fears are being annihilated. Like, why would y'all even think you're going to be annihilated? Like, is that even a thing? This is a Mortal Kombat. That's a Mortal Kombat word. Annihilation. Like, invaded. Look, invaded, not existing, being thought of as incapable or ignorant, having obligations placed upon you, or your energy being completely depleted. Like, y'all got some crazy fears. Like, do you resonate with any of those fears?
Yeah, especially fearing like my energy being completely depleted. I remember someone used this analogy that 5s are like having a phone that starts at a 50% battery and it never gets beyond that.
Listen,
we only have so much reserves to give, and we are very like stingy with it because we don't have as much as other people may have to give.
Listen, that is great perspective. However, I got a however to that. So y'all got to learn how to like work that charger up. Like, yeah, you're at 50%, but here's the thing. So that's the difference between health and unhealth. So unhealthy 5 will take that 50% and then take it to like work or school or errands or kids, and then completely zap it and then have nothing for the hubby, have nothing for friends, have nothing for anybody else. But to be healthy is to recognize, what am I giving out, right?
Yeah.
What does that look like for me? Having healthy boundaries.
Yes.
Being able to say yes to the right things and no as well. Both. But your core desire, you just want to be capable and competent. You want to know that your needs are not a problem, but it's almost like you all work against that though, right? We know your needs are not a problem because we love you and we want you around and we want to help take care of these needs for you. But you're like, no, they're my needs.
Yeah.
I need to keep my needs. And it's like, but it goes exactly against your core longing. You want people to be able to eventually come into that space that you guys keep so isolated. So it's almost like, and I say this with every single number, your defense mechanism, which right there at the bottom right is isolation, but it goes in the exact opposite of your core longing. So it's like, I want people to help me and be there and know that my needs are not a problem and that, I can be complete with other people. But then it's like, nope, my defense mechanism is to avoid feelings of emptiness and to maintain my image of being knowledgeable and self-sufficient. And I do that by being by myself. Avarice, greed.
Yeah.
This is your thorn in your side, 5s. Feeling that you lack inner resources and that too much interaction with other people is going to lead to catastrophic depletion. So therefore, here's what y'all do. Y'all withhold yourself. But you withhold everything. You withhold your time, your energy, your money, your love, your affection, your everything from other people, right? Because holding on to your resources, you feel like minimizes those needs that other people are going to think is a problem. I just want to let you know, we don't think your needs are a problem.
Thank you.
We want your needs. Share your needs. What stops you from sharing those needs? Like, what keeps you all in that place of like, I have to keep it close. I got to keep it to me. Like, what is it? Why do you do that?
I think it goes back to wanting to be competent. Like, we want to be able to carry our own needs and help others be competent, like in the ways of helping another person. But in order to do that, we feel as though we have to be able to do that for ourselves also. Okay. And I think it just comes back to, honestly, almost like a pride thing where I have to be enough. I have to be capable. It's all on me.
All on me. Man, that has to be heavy though.
Yeah.
So in relationships, how do you even share with others the things that you need, and like, what do you need in a relationship? Let's start there. Like,
me personally?
Yeah.
I think healthy boundaries is a huge thing, because there are times where I just need to be alone and like to refresh myself or to think or to process whatever I'm feeling. And I think another thing is it's important for me in relationships to have someone that recognizes that and doesn't infringe on that. So if I say, listen, I just need to go be alone, please don't try to reach out to me for however long, like just let me do that. And when they do that to me, it kind of shows me this type of trust that I can trust them, that they didn't have to infringe on me when I specifically asked them not to. And I think people recognizing and respecting that is a huge thing to move forward in like that friendship or that relationship.
See, that's so good, because then you'll get other numbers, like a 2, for instance. And I have an awesome couple who are a 2 and a 5. And it's so funny that, well, now she's a 2. She thought she was a 1. Now she's a 2. We're going to talk about that on Saturday. A friend who I will remain nameless. That's so funny that you said you feel like that is a sign of respect and love for the person to give you that space and don't try to encroach, bring that word back around, and try not to encroach upon you, because then you feel like, okay, I can't trust you.
Yeah.
I needed some space. I needed to be alone. I needed to recharge, refresh, and you thought you were more important, or they might have not had any ill intention. They honestly might have thought, and that's why I brought up the 2. 2s just want to fix it for you.
Yeah.
Right? They just want to love you. They want everything to be okay. They want the relationship to be vibing. And basically what you're saying is, correct me if I'm wrong, is that there's nothing even wrong. You just literally want the time, the isolated time, to be able to bring yourself back to 0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. That is so good to know. For a 5. My mom's a 5. So that's important. So the thing is a lot of times people, we're going to hop right into our triad. A lot of people think that 5s are very standoffish, that they don't like people, that they just want to be by themselves all the time because there's an issue with someone else or something or a situation. But really what you're saying is, and I even think that, like for my mom or like from Brad, they're like, no, I just literally just need to be by myself, because it's like that term, I need to be alone with my thoughts.
Yeah.
Which is funny, that's why I brought right into this next slide, is you guys are in the head triad. So you literally are one of the type of numbers that need to be left alone with your thoughts, because you have to process, you have to sort it out. You're in the IQ triad, intelligence triad. So that makes sense. But sometimes then you guys lean too far, right? And you have that thinking imbalance. You won't do or you won't feel
Yeah.
For you in this case, for fives, there's a feelings deficiency. There is a emotional deficiency there. And then that's the emotional struggle that the head triad has is with fear. For you all, it's fear of not knowing something, fear of being pushed into a situation that you weren't prepared for, fear of being asked to do something that you feel like you're incompetent and incapable. And that's really why the head triad, the desire is to have security, to be secure for you as a five in your knowledge, in your understanding, in your wisdom, and being ready and being able to supply your needs for yourself. Does that make sense for your triad? Like, tell me like what that looks like for you.
Yeah, I think like it all ties in together really well. Having the IQ be a big thing. We do have a lot of like struggle with emotional, like recognizing our emotions, or even more so expressing them in a proper way, I would say.
Yeah.
And I think that fear comes back to like the five's main desire, to be competent, to be seen as capable. It all comes back to like that security that you just talked about. We want to be secure in the fact that we know enough, that we're prepared enough, that we're ready enough, or that we have enough information to actually relay what's significant in each moment, in each situation, each circumstance. And when we lack that, I think that comes to us kind of going back to that isolation. It just kind of nags at you when you're not living as you're kind of expected or wanting even.
Yeah, that's so good. And I recently added to this slide this quote by Enneagram'd, which is a part of my intro to Enneagram stuff. It says, "We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are." What do you think about that and how you relate to other people?
Yeah, I think a lot of times, like, my already preconceptions or even misconceptions relay how I'm viewing something. So even my prejudices or anything that I already concluded in my mind, even if it wasn't valid, I see things through that lens because that's what I either taught myself or what I was taught or what I learned. And just kind of, I think a lot of times our knowledge, our intelligence is something that we see through like a lens typically. And a lot of times that's filtered through who we are as a person, our experiences, our relationships. And that comes back to like, maybe I see people this way because I've been hurt in the past, so I think they're going to hurt me. Or this person invaded my personal space and that happened before, so I can't trust them because I think they're like the person who did it before. And it just kind of, my experience defines what you're going to do because I'm scared or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man. That's deep.
Yep.
But that's so profound though, to understand when people can come to the realization that I'm not viewing this situation properly.
Yeah.
I'm literally only looking at it through my own lenses, and that's why I like to talk about through. And so does the coach that I'm learning through for the Enneagram. We talk about the Enneagram through our own lenses. The world happens through our own lens. We live through our own lens, and if we're not willing, which is part of the opportunity we face today with social injustice and so many things going on in the world, is that we have people refusing to take off their lenses.
Yeah.
See it from other people's perspective.
Yep.
Yeah. Because that's what it really boils down to, right? There's no all this race is, and I love how Jane Elliott says this, right? She was like, that's an ignorant statement. We're all from the human race. We're all literally the same. We come in different shades, but we're literally all the same. She was like, unless you come from another planet, and then you're alien, and then you're a different life force, right? Then you're different. So it all comes down to literal like perspectives. And I know we live differently, and I do understand people have different backgrounds and those different types of things. But at the end of the day, if I stab you and you stab me, we're both gonna bleed out.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's really getting down to starting to understand one another from these different perspectives. And it's one of the reasons why I really love the Enneagram, because once we can really start to actually see things as myself and others see them, then we're a lot better off.
Yeah.
And then another piece I like getting into on here is to that point about our perception, how we view things, how we process things. And for yourself, you are in the stance of the past. When you think about things and when you talk about things, you talk about it from the past. You're like, well, this happened. And I kind of heard you when you were like explaining to me, well, they did this to me before, so now this is what's going to happen. So that's sometimes a struggle for fours, fives, and nines. So they have to remember that when they're talking and communicating about different things in their life, they have to remember that there's other numbers, and here we were talking about different perspectives, are thinking of it from a different. So for myself, if you approach me and we were talking about a subject and you were like, yeah, but this is what happened, and yeah, but this was my experience, I'm immediately going to get irritated as an 8, because I'm like, I'm future oriented. I'm like, okay, but what are we going to do? Okay, right. But how do we move forward? Okay, but let's keep going.
Sounds like our conversations.
Yeah, that does sound like our conversation. So it's good to remember when we're trying to communicate with one another that it's different. So, 7, 8s, and 3s are for future oriented. 1s, 2s, and 6s are present oriented. So keeping those things in mind when we're trying to process information as it's coming in and going out is important. You are very dependent, but you're doing repressed because you process also through your thinking and feeling. So although emotionally distant number mostly on the Enneagram, you do still feel because you understand impact. But then because you get so caught up in your head sometimes, it's hard for you to move forward, aka action, right?
Yeah.
It's hard for you to go do what you need to do because you're like, I need to think about it. And then sometimes for this stance of numbers, you all think you are actually doing, but really all you've done is thought about it. Do you run into that sometimes? You have the inclination that you've done work, but nothing's actually happened. You just thought it to death.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. There's some days where I'll feel like I got so much done, and then I realize I did absolutely nothing but like maybe read a book and then think about that one chapter the entire day.
Right.
Just one chapter, not even the whole book. And I'm like, oh man, I just thought that to death. I didn't actually like act on it or progress with anything.
Exactly. So that's important for these numbers to remember. Like, yeah, you're thinking and you're feeling it. You even like, oh man, I really felt that. Like that was like, especially for yourself because you have a 4 wing. So you're definitely pulling from that number that's all about feelings.
Yeah.
So, but then there's a struggle with practical life. 4s, 5s, and 9s struggle with the basics of things because, well, most of the time, well, for a 5, it's just like, well, it's because that's stupid. Why would I waste my time thinking about those things? That's infantile. Stupid.
Yeah.
9s are just like, I don't feel like it. No. Can someone just do this for me? Like,
yeah,
I don't want to do it. And then 4s are just like, I don't know how to feel. Like, I just so much going on, and this is my crazy husband. So he's felt it to death that he gets like,
yeah.
Regular life. So regular life and basics and things are practicality of things are a struggle. So what do you think about being, past oriented in your thoughts and communications, being very dependent when it comes to, like I said, 7, 8s, and 3s, they're aggressive. They're going to go at you. 1s, 2s, and 6s are going to become compliant or dutiful. And actually what I should say is you guys withdraw.
Yeah.
So 4s, 5s, and 9s withdraws from others. And then you become doing repressed.
Yeah.
then in that you get caught up in your process of thinking and feeling, and then the struggle to complete practical things in life becomes very hard. What do you think about that?
Super accurate. I think, like you said, even when I was answering your last question, I was very past oriented, like, oh, they did this, so now that's what's going to happen. You just assume that. And like the dependency, I think withdrawing is a more accurate statement, unless it means dependent on oneself, maybe. I've realized that due to things that have happened or currently happening, that a lot of times I just withdraw because it feels safer, even though it's not exactly. And because of that, a lot of times I'm doing repressed. Like, I don't act on my affections for my friends, or I don't act on the fact that I do care for these people, but I feel like I can't show it because maybe I was hurt by someone else, or whatever it is. I just don't act on my thoughts or my emotions because it feels safer to not do so. And then I get stuck in the process of thinking and feeling. But it's weird because sometimes you think so much that you like ignore your feelings, and then whenever your feelings do come up, you don't know how to actually express them, or you're unwilling to, and then you're stuck in this cycle. And then the practical life, struggling with that. Yeah, I think sometimes I just overthink the basics or think like beyond them, so the basics don't seem as significant because, oh, but I can do more in-depth stuff that would matter even more, so why worry about the basics? But the basics are important because they're foundational.
That's right. That's right. That's so good. And here, lastly, I just want to talk about how do we then relate to a 5? So relating to a 5, to create communication and rapport, approach them slowly and thoughtfully. Give them room to think things over. True or false?
True.
True. Try to avoid pressuring them for immediate contact or fast decisions. True or false?
True.
Why are those last two things true? Why are they true?
Because we are so like thinking prone that a lot of times when people push for us to do like give a decision or give input really quickly, it's just kind of like, but that's not what I do. I have to think before I give you a solidified answer of what I actually think or believe. Just give me space. And yeah, to build rapport, like being thoughtful in the things that you say rather than just like word vomit. It's kind of like, okay, I respect that you took the time to actually think through what you wanted to ask me and then give me time to think it over as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to go research it for 3 hours. So I know you want me to just go pick up ice cream, but I need to understand what aisle it's in, what's the closest exit and entrance, and which store happens to be the shortest drive.
Yeah, you know how you said we tire you guys out? Think how we tire ourselves out, sis.
Listen, I know y'all be wore out, man. But so join them in talking about ideas and valuing the inner life. You guys love talking about deep stuff.
Yes.
You guys are a deep well. You got stuff for days. Ooh, you be like, whew. Okay. It was like, can we take a break? You're like, oh, this is getting so good. And it's like, we've been talking for 4.5 hours.
And you guys are like, okay, I'm tired. And I'm like, but I have so much more information to give you.
But I have so much more. To handle conflict, don't make assumptions about what's going on with them.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Oh, that is so frustrating. Because I think it comes back to, like, we don't like people making assumptions. No one likes assumptions made about them. Like, it's not fun. And especially for,
So why does it specifically bother you all so much?
Because I know what I'm processing and what I'm thinking, and I want to be able to communicate that. And then once people make assumptions, I don't even want to share what's actually going on because they just ticked me off.
Did you take your ball and go home? I'm not participating anymore.
I'm out.
Since you got all the information. Actually, I got all the information, but I ain't sharing it with you.
Exactly. You don't deserve to know right now.
I'll tell you in 3 days.
That'll be how long it takes for me to process. Then I'll finally let you know.
That's all right. So ask them for direct communication, right? Agree to disagree. Do not sit there and argue with the 5. Like I said, Facebook people, I'm trying to help y'all out. Stop trying to go to town with them because it will be the longest thread in American history on Facebook history if you try to keep going with them, because they will always pull something else out. Emphasize the importance of relationship, though. So you guys, we have to emphasize that with you, because you're so easy to disconnect. So friends, help them out by emphasizing the importance of the relationship you share with them, and watch out for control by withdrawal. Ooh. Is that what y'all be trying to do? Y'all be trying to control people by going away?
Yeah, it's not only controlling people, controlling the situation, the relationship, and then also myself and my own thoughts. Yeah, a lot of it comes back to wanting to be in control and possessing that in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Challenge them to be more warm and generous, okay?
Yeah.
More warm and generous gives them, but give them lots of information. They want to know it all. Give us all the information. We want it. So if you ever feel like you have, thoughtful word vomit, contact the 5.
There you go.
They will gladly listen to all of what you have to say.
Yes.
To support their growth, though, because see, we want 5s to grow. Everybody has to grow. Support 5s by you guys need to get more into your bodies and access your instinctual energy, and that's that doing. That's a gut triad. So make it safe for them to share themselves. You see, you were talking about that trust piece, especially their feelings, because it's kind of like it's a one and done with you guys. So but y'all got to work on that. Hey, we can't just throw people away, okay? We need to cancel culture. We ain't gonna do that.
Yes.
But our numbers are quick to do that, though. For real, listen.
True.
Then I'm not dealing with you. That is not Christ-like. Remind them to let others know that they care and that they will return to the relationship or the project after a break. See, you mentioned that. So helping others know before you leave that, hey, I'm not angry, I'm mad, I'm just going to collect myself, my thoughts, and get myself together. So it's helpful for 5s to let the people in their relationships know that in advance. So help them deal with feelings of emptiness by bringing them close, letting them know, hey, I'm not going anywhere, even though I know you're going to go somewhere and you're not going to talk to me for several days, but that's fine. I still love you. Okay. But your higher emotion, right? This is when you are truly starting to transform and letting the Holy Spirit come on in, right? You're participating in life with feelings and integrating your inner world with your outer world. Because you keep the inner world secret. Y'all, see, I didn't mention that, but 5s are very private.
Yeah.
Y'all are private to death. Here's the thing. So these are the types of things like my mom be saying. She'd be like, I'm not trying to put that on the interwebs, on Facebook, because, they'll end up trying to know all your information. I'm like, Mom, you work for the government. They already know all your information. I need you to stop with this fake privacy thing. That is not real life. They already know all your business. If you got a cell phone, if you got a cell phone, a job, and somewhere to live, guess what? They know your information. So y'all have a false sense of privacy is what that is. But yes, 5s are very private. We need y'all to stop being so private. It ain't that deep. Y'all ain't got nothing that special to be trying to hide and keep from everybody. But listen, y'all be cray.
You're telling me.
Quit messing with y'all. But the last piece, right? Here is your natural response to energy in life, is to express that force, express that force and that energy by exaggerating it. You externalize, meaning you about to just think Pokemon in them, it's not gonna come out. You're expressive and you're over the top. What do you think about that? Does this apply to you? 8s, 2s, and 5s. Okay.
Yeah. I think mostly for me, it's the externalizing, because I do like to process everything that I'm thinking or feeling or experiencing before I become expressive to trustworthy people. Yeah.
Okay. There's one thing that you need people to know about you, about a 5. What is it?
Oh man, one thing?
Yeah.
I think it is.
What do you think is important for the world to know about a 5?
I think it's significant to point out that we're not like antisocial, but we just don't like having those obligations of like, you need to come to this or you need to do this, or when we do kind of go to things and then go to be on our own, like I go to parties and then I'll just go sit in my car for like an hour because I'm a weirdo. Yeah. It's not because I like the people. It's not because I'm not having fun. It's just like I'm tired and I just wanted to go refresh so I can come back and be a better version for you guys. It's more for you guys than for me sometimes.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You heard it here first from Jordin. Okay. The 5s are not antisocial. They just need to recharge. Okay. So stop crying about it. Well, thank you for stopping by to chat with Coach Joanie Bob on Enneagram'd On Purpose, this awesome segment of On Purpose planning and consulting. And like we say, we challenge you to do better on purpose. Thanks, Jordin.
Yeah.